I have done 2 hot air balloon trips,
Right?
but that's not really flying, is it? Well, it
It
kind of
kind of
is.
is. Greetings and salutations, people of the internet, and welcome back to the Center of Gravity. Today's episode is really all about looking at potentially taking up flying, whether or not it's something that you've thought about in the past, whether or not it's something that you actively have done something about, don't know. But really the whole idea is to get under the skin of what people think about when they're thinking about taking up the sport. So with me today, I have someone who I happen to know personally outside of the whole YouTube vlogosphere, someone that I work with on a day-to-day basis in my normal job, who has expressed an interest in taking up microlighting. Now, interestingly enough, most of you will know Mike from Induced Bank. Now, Mike also happens to work for the same company that I work for, so we seem to be starting this whole revolution of flex-wing microlighters within our company. So who knows, there might be a few more moving forward. So with me today, I have Caroline Garland. Now, Caroline is someone that I work with on a day-to-day basis in my day job, and I'm going to ask her to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about who she is and where she's from.
Hi everyone, I'm Caroline Garland, and yeah, I do work beside Graham. I live in Mid-Calder in West Lothian, which is in Scotland.
So, Caroline, can you tell me what it was that inspired you to look into flex-wing aviation as something that you may want to take up?
It's something that I've wanted to do for probably 15 years. My mum, she lives in East Lothian, so I see all the small planes, microlights flying over, and I've always thought this is something that I would do. I never have done it. I don't know why I haven't done it up until fairly soon, but it's something that I really think is an exciting hobby. The hobbies that I have are really boring. Really boring. People say, what do you do? And then you say gardening and baking. I always think that's pretty lame. But when I've been telling people recently that I'm thinking of taking up microlight flying, the word they use is wow. So what I want is a hobby that is wow.
So when we were speaking a few weeks ago about you potentially taking up flex-wing aviation, you were telling me about how sometimes you used to stand at the end of a runway. What's the background behind that?
So as I say, my mum lives in East Lothian. When you drive past, you always see the microlights taken off. On occasion, I have stopped at the end of the runway, pulled up, and actually watched you guys taking off rather than just looking up and waving to you.
So have you had any other previous experience of aviation, not just like going on holidays and flying somewhere, because I know you travel a lot, but any other experience of you flying an aircraft or being in a small aircraft with tours or something like that?
I have done 2 hot air balloon trips.
Right.
But that's not really flying, is it? Well, it kind of is. Kind of is. And that was quite exciting. But what I absolutely love is when you're up there and you look down and you see the patchwork of the forests, the grass, the fields. I just think it's absolutely incredible.
So what was it about flex wings that caught your attention, notwithstanding the fact that you used to see them flying around your mum's place? Was there anything else that made you think it's flex wing that I want to go to, as opposed to a bigger sort of Cessna aircraft?
It's something that I've thought about for a long time. You mentioned it in the office. I've heard you talking about it a lot. Actually, it was one of your videos that really inspired me to do this. I watched one of your videos and I thought, wow, that looks just exactly what I'd love to do. Absolutely. And I remember showing a member of my family and they said, are you mad? And I said, yeah, actually, I probably am. When I first said it to them, they thought I was mad. But the more I've talked about it, I think they've sort of come round to, yeah, that's a good idea. I can really see you doing that.
So where are you on the journey at the moment?
I have researched everything I can research online. I know how much everything costs. I know a little bit about the exams you've got to do. It's not a quick fix. You don't just put your flying suit on and take off. So I am planning to retire for the second time round in April of next year. So it's a few months away now. The last time I retired, I only lasted 2 weeks because I was bored with my non-exciting hobbies. So this time round, I don't want to necessarily do that. So I want to do something that's exciting, something that I can spend lots of time doing, and this absolutely fits the bill. And I would love to tell people what I do, and they say to me, wow, age isn't a barrier to doing it. I like to keep my brain active. It's something you're not going to get bored with. I imagine every day is different in terms of the conditions, what you see, what you do. Watching your videos, you went over and you talked about the North Berwick, I can't remember what it's called, the North Berwick Festival.
Oh, there's the Festival by the Sea.
Festival by the Sea. And, you're talking about the paddle boarders down below and people waving to you. Yeah. I just think it's amazing. And particularly when you talked about flying to one of the Scottish islands, how cool would that be?
So that's an interesting one. So once you've retired, you've done your training, and you've got your license. Let's fast forward a couple of years to when that's all happened.
Yeah.
For you, what's your ultimate dream for a location to fly to?
I would love to go to Skye.
Yep.
I've always wanted to go to the Three Chimneys restaurant. So my idea is I put on my posh frock underneath my flying suit, lippy on, fly to Skye, take off my suit, and then rock up at Three Chimneys restaurant, have an amazing meal, and fly back. How wonderful would that be?
That would be pretty awesome.
It would. And my husband says he thinks he might come with me.
That's an awesome idea. So let's talk about flight number one. Have you thought about when you're planning on booking your number one flight or your trial flight?
Yeah, so it will be probably in either February or March, weather permitting. What I would like to do is not do it right now. So for people that know me, I'm either in something or I'm out. There's no in between. I want to just do it. So I'd like to book my first flight and my second and my third and my fourth and my fifth. And because I can do it during the week as well, I don't have the restrictions of, after work or weekends. So that's my plan.
When it comes to flying and that very first flight, what is it that you think is the emotion you're going to feel the first time you unstick from the ground?
I think what is going to be different is when you take off in a small plane, it's quite enclosed. Whereas from the videos that I've seen of yourself and Mike, it absolutely isn't like that. That would be the first thing that strikes you, that there's not a lot between you
and the ground.
And the ground, yeah, that's the main bit of it, isn't it?
And can I assume that you've never had a fear of heights or a fear of flying before?
Absolutely not. I'm not frightened of heights. That doesn't worry me in any shape or form.
Let's get to the point that you've actually started your training. Are there any challenges that you think you're going to come across when you start the training process? I'm
quite impatient. I want things to happen now, and it's not going to be like that. You're going to have to, I guess, start off by doing your test flight, and then I assume, I don't know, we haven't really talked about this, but the exams that you have to do, they'll probably be in a certain type of order, and you can't rush through them. You've just got to take as long as they take. So I guess that'll be perhaps a bit of a frustration that, come on, let's just do it. Let's get it under the belt. You've already mentioned that your hubby would like to come up with you to the Isle of Skye and go to the Three Chimneys. Is there anyone else in your family that is interested in going flying with you that has been, I'd like to get involved? And what's your family's view on all of this? I have lined up a few people. a few victims, but surprising, well, maybe it's not surprising. Some more people have said no thank you than yes please. And I even said to my boss, who heard that I was interested in taking this up, and I said to him, would you like to be my first victim? And he said, not bloody likely. My oldest son would like to come up. My sister said she would not come up in a million years. A couple of my grandsons absolutely would come up. So there are a few people that have said, yeah, I'd love to come up once you've done your exams and you're proficient. And
we're absolutely going to have to work on Chris. And he knows that I'm going to mention him because I've spoken about this earlier today before we did the recording. And I've offered him a flight as well, and I pretty much got exactly the same response. So Chris, we'll get you up there at some point.
Yeah, we will.
What's the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to when it comes to flying in the future?
Just being free, at one with nature. When you watch the videos online, it just looks so awesome being up there on your own. And if you've had a bad day, it must just really clear your head and make you just feel relaxed.
Once again, thank you so much, Caroline, for your time today. It's really valued, and I'm sure anyone who is potentially looking to take up flying as a hobby will take a lot of information from this video, and hopefully it will persuade them to pursue it themselves. We're going to close down the video now, and I'll leave Caroline to the rest of her evening. For all of you who are watching the video, thank you very much for spending some time with us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe using the buttons which are down below. And to those of you who are pilots, fly safe. To those of you who aren't pilots, just keep doing what you do and do it well. Cheerio!